For the Cathars, this mountain became their final refuge. But legend says they protected something far more valuable than their lives. Something that vanished. High above the Pyrenees, a fortress clings to an impossible mountain. But why build a refuge here, at the edge of the world? From below, Montsegur looks almost unreachable. Yet centuries ago, people deliberately climbed here. They weren't simply building a castle, they were seeking protection. Among those who came were the Cathars, members of a Christian movement condemned by the medieval church. For them, Montsegur became a place of refuge. The Cathars followed beliefs that challenged the religious order of medieval Europe. Their communities rejected worldly power, and that made them increasingly vulnerable to persecution. Then, the Albigensian Crusade transformed Occitania. Armies moved across the region, targeting communities accused of heresy, and eventually, the conflict reached the mountains. Montsegur offered something rare: height, isolation, and natural defenses. The mountain settlement became a refuge for Cathars, sympathizers, families, and others seeking safety. Behind these walls, religious life continued. Sermons, rituals, and quiet meetings took place while danger slowly surrounded the mountain. But refuge could not last forever. Weapons were prepared, supplies were gathered, and the defenders watched the surrounding slopes. Something terrible was approaching. Then, below the mountain, an enemy appeared. Soldiers and supplies filled the valley. Montsegur was no longer hidden, it was surrounded. The siege dragged on for months. Outside, an army waited. Inside, food and hope slowly disappeared. Every passing day brought Montsegur closer to its final decision. The mountain protected the settlement, but not forever. Besiegers slowly gained stronger positions, bringing the defenders within reach. The fortress could no longer remain untouched. Inside Montsegur, ordinary life became a struggle for survival. Families endured hunger and fear, while defenders knew that surrender could mean death. Then came the final night. In the darkness, decisions were made. Some would surrender at dawn, while others were preparing to disappear.
Historical accounts tell of Cathars escaping Montsegur before the surrender. They vanished into the mountains carrying valuables from their church. What happened next became legend. But what exactly did they take? Records suggest valuable objects and money were removed. Later stories transformed these possessions into something far more mysterious: a lost treasure. On the morning of March 16, 1244, Montsegur surrendered. For those who remained, the refuge had become a place of no return. The people were gone, but the mountain remained. What had once been a crowded refuge was suddenly silent, leaving behind only stone, ash, and unanswered questions. For the survivors, surrender did not mean safety. Many Cathars faced execution. The tragedy at Montsegur became one of the darkest episodes of the conflict. And yet, stories of Montsegur refused to disappear. Hidden passages, secret routes, and mysterious objects became part of a legend that grew long after the siege. Some fugitives escaped through the darkness before the final surrender. They knew the mountain and somehow vanished. But what were they carrying when they left? Perhaps it was simply money and religious possessions. Perhaps later generations transformed them into treasure. The evidence is real, but the legend is far larger. Imagine looking back one final time. Behind them stood Montsegur, the place that had offered protection, community, and faith, and now belonged to the past. After the siege, silence returned to the mountain. But silence does not erase history. Every stone still carries the memory of those who once lived here. Today, Montsegur survives as a ruin above the French Pyrenees. Tourists see ancient stone, but beneath those stones lies a story of faith, war, and survival. The fortress we see today is not simply frozen in 1244. Much of the surviving castle belongs to a later reconstruction, built after the Cathar stronghold fell. So, was there really a hidden Cathar treasure? Valuable possessions were taken away, but no proven legendary hoard has ever been found beneath Montsegur. Perhaps Montsegur's greatest treasure was never gold. It was the story itself, a mystery of faith, persecution, escape, and a mountain that still refuses to reveal everything. But what do you believe really disappeared from Montsegur? A forgotten treasure, or simply a story transformed by legend? Tell us your theory in the comments. And if you want more mysteries hidden inside history, subscribe and join us for the next investigation.